Okay, so today we're going to go through client Christos' amazing 14-week transformation, and what an incredible result he got. Really, it was a life-changing journey for him, and such an eye-opener as well into how your body can transform when you've got the right knowledge and guidance behind you. And I'm very excited to go through this with you guys and girls, because look, I remember before I even got into coaching, in the magazines and online, you would see transformations and you never really understood the truth of what accomplished that transformation, because they're usually littered with sales and marketing. So for me, coaching is all about empowering people through knowledge and being transparent of everything we've done to get a client into the best shape of their lives. That way you guys are able to learn. Hopefully you're able to get insight into this and apply it in your own journeys. And that, for me, is what we call true empowerment through coaching. So let's get started. We'll start at the beginning, right? Christos reaching out to me. So Christos initially reached out to me after he'd seen a few of his friends who had been working with me and seen the rapid changes they were making in their bodies. He thought to himself, do you know what? I've been watching these guys in the gym. They're changing now more rapidly than ever. I want to get onto that too. So he reached out to me and explained to me that, look, I've seen what you've done with my mates in the gym. I'm no newbie to training. I've been training now for quite some years. He had been on anabolics as well, so he's no stranger to anabolics. Kept what he thought was a good diet, but had ended up in that situation that so many people end up in, where you're putting in the work, you're being disciplined, you're training hard, right? You're eating what you think is correct, and you're not really seeing much in return. And that's frustrating, man, because you feel like you're putting a lot of work in, but you're kind of going nowhere. A little bit like a hamster on a wheel, right? Putting loads of work in, but you're running on the same spot. So he comes to me in that frustration, seeing what other people are doing, that FOMO kicked in, and he wanted to get on his own journey. So of course I was like, absolutely, get yourself signed up and we'll begin this journey. And so he did. And I'm going to use my laptop here because obviously I'm not going to remember this stuff just off the top of my head. And I want to walk through this with you step by step. So if we look at his initial check-in, which I'm just going to get up for you now, when Christos actually began his journey with me, so not his first check-in, but his initial sort of questionnaire, he was sitting at 110 kilos, right? And if you look at his physique, it's not like he's out of shape, right? He's got a good, decent build there. He's got a good amount of muscle. He is holding a little bit of body fat, but nothing excessive. Most people look at that and say, do you know what? You've got a good physique going there. But obviously, when you're training hard, and you're pushing yourself and you're seeing others progress, and you're finding that what you're doing is really not having any effect, you don't see what's in the mirror, you see where you want to go. And that's what was frustrating him. So we start this journey off. And I told him initially, I said that, look, Christos, do you know what it is? You've actually bringing me a really good base, right? And if you knuckle down and you follow as I lay out and you put your heart and soul into this, then my God, you won't believe the transformation that you are going to undergo. And I all think to myself that when somebody joins up, they might think that's just a bit of hype talk, right? But it's hard to tell a person just how much progress they can make, because a lot of people, they base what their body can do and what's possible really on their own knowledge and things that they've kind of found on the internet or read from books. And when you come to someone like myself, who's got that rich experience now of coaching over 5,000 people and have been doing this now for over a decade and actively involved in this lifestyle, obsessed with it really for 23 years, man, it is a different level altogether. And I always get excited because I think this person has no fucking clue with what's about to happen, right? And that's exactly the sort of theme of this journey, because Christos was not prepared for what we were going to do. So he sends me his initial check-in. Looking at his physique, I can tell, this guy's in great shape. He's got body fat to lose to get into that ripped to pieces shape, but he's bringing me a good base. So I designed the initial program, and I'm going to get that up with you guys right now. And we started him on, when I write a program initially, what you got to realize, and I'll be honest with you, any other coach that says otherwise is telling a fib, right? So when I write that initial program, it's like a trap, okay? So what I'm trying to do is I'm setting up a structure and a framework for Christos to follow when it comes to his training, his cardio, his diet, his supplementation, his anabolics. And what I'm effectively looking to see is how does his body respond in terms of fat loss, in terms of weight change, and really importantly, in terms of shape change. Then once I start to see how his body is responding and I'm getting that organic raw data, then I'm able to translate that into a personalized sort of pathway based on data from his body that's ultimately going to allow me to take him to that next level. So if we look at how his program initially started, we began with 6 sessions of cardio per week, okay? And I split this right down the middle. 3 sessions of 45 minutes of cardio, and this is steady state, so zone 2, which he was doing on a treadmill, fast-paced walking on an incline. And we had 3 sessions of 5 minutes high-intensity cardio, specifically using the assault bike. 20 seconds all out and 40 seconds active rest. And if you don't know this already, I'm a massive fan of high-intensity cardio because the metabolic effect it has on your body. And by utilizing both formats of cardio, both steady state and high intensity, you're getting more bang for your buck. And it's gonna actually propel your fat loss a lot quicker. So I put him on the initial 6 sessions of cardio. So not too overwhelming, because looking at his body, he's not really holding that much body fat. So I'm thinking to myself, let's just see how his body responds, and then we'll tweak from there. Now, when we go to his diet, again, looking at his body, seeing that he's in fairly reasonable shape, I use carb cycling pretty much with every client that I use. How I set the carb cycle up, though, it really bloody depends on what shape their body's in. And it's not about weight. So I don't sit there, right? And, a client joins up with me and they weigh this much and I set them this diet with this macros. I don't do that bullshit. I'm looking at the body and I'm looking at the composition. So where I can see that Christos has, what you would regard to be a decent build, decent amount of muscle, not too much body fat. I know that at the moment, his body's going to be in a pretty insulin sensitive position, right? He's going to be in a position where his metabolic rate is, at a decent level. So I put him on a program where we were doing 4 low carb days. And these low carb days are not really low, right? But they're low compared to the high carb days. And we have 3 high carb days a week. So 4 low carb days and 3 high carb days per week, right? And 1 cheat meal per week. Now, in terms of the anabolics, remember, Christos is no newbie to anabolics. He'd used many cycles pre-hand. I put him on a very mild cycle to begin with, utilizing 3 compounds that I love to use on a cut. That is testosterone, of course, as the base of the cycle. Primobolan, an incredible compound when it comes to keeping your muscles full, when it comes to giving you a harder look, and especially when it comes to preserving muscle tissue and actually building muscle tissue when you're in a deficit. Primobolan is an incredible compound for that, because at the end of the day, if you research primobolan, then you'll understand that it was originally created and used for treatment of AIDS patients who, obviously have a muscle atrophy disease, right? And you can't just go and tell them, go to the gym and eat more and, train. That's not going to happen. They're in severe pain. They're dealing with a disease that is, especially in the 90s and 80s, incredibly arduous. So primobolan was utilized to actually help them put muscle on, even if they're not able to eat effectively. So it's a fucking great compound to use on a cut, right? And what I love about it as well is very mild. When you're setting up a cut, when I'm working with a client, and I know that we've got a good amount of body fat to get to before they're in ripped up shape, I'm going to use the most mildest compounds possible, right, to achieve most of our fat loss, because I don't want to put their fucking health under risk. I don't want to put them at any risk at all. So I'm going to use the mildest compounds, but the best compounds suited for a cut. So we had testosterone, primobolan, and masteron. Masteron I love, because what masteron effectively is doing is allowing you to get more out of your testosterone without taking more testosterone. Due to the effect that it has on SHBG, right, what it's going to allow you to do is have more free testosterone to utilize for building muscle. Masteron's also fantastic because it will give you a harder, drier appearance, certainly make you appear more vascular. So these 3 combined together, testosterone, primobolan, and masteron, are fucking incredible. And again, very mild compounds that certainly for the most part of your cut are going to be able to deliver the job that you're after in terms of giving you a harder look, a fuller look, keeping that muscle tissue on you, and allowing you to perform really well in the gym without putting any arduous effect in the internal biochemistry of the body. And I gave him the option that if you wanted to take a therapeutic dosage of growth hormone I use per day, you can do, which he did. Again, I love growth hormone because you've got to think about things like ligament and tendon recovery. You've got to think about things like it helps bolster fat loss, helps bolster muscle gain. It also is going to help keep your muscles a lot fuller. So it's really great when you're on a cut. I really am a big fan of growth hormone. So we use that, and I'll cycle with milligrams of testosterone, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Milligrams of Primobolan, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And 50 milligrams of Masteron, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So you can see by the dosages, very low dosages, right? And I'm not about pushing dosages high. I'm about using the right compounds and then utilizing the diet, the training, and the cardio to get the result. So we use those compounds Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because to keep the blood level stable is going to just be more beneficial for your body, right? What you've got to think about with anabolics is that if you take large bolus dosages, that sudden spike and change in your internal hormonal environment is what can trigger those side effects. So by keeping your blood levels as stable as possible, right, it's just far favorable for your health, for your internal biochemistry. When I look at blood work where people have taken big bolus dosages, you see that it triggers a reaction in the body, whether it's estrogenic or whether it's prolactin or whether it's, with the organs. By keeping things more stable, it's just more harmonious with your internal biochemistry. So now you see the cycle. Now you see the cardio. Now you see the diet. We'll go into the training. Now with Christos, I set him up looking at his physique, right? I wanted him to be in the gym 5 days per week, right? So I set him up your typical single body part split using intensity techniques like Widowmakers, pause reps, and drop sets. So we're hammering the body 5 days per week, right? So you can fully focus on one muscle at a time, right? You've got to think about when you're in a cut, right? You've got to think about recovery. You've got to think about energy. Training multiple body parts in one go can be really taxing, and some body parts can suffer then, right? Especially the body part that you're training last. When we're thinking about being on a cut, where you are going to be pushing hard with the diet, you are going to be pushing hard with the cardio, by limiting the time that you spend in the gym each day, but focusing on one muscle at a time is going to allow you to get much more intensity out of that workout. So I favor this split on a cut. And we're doing a double split as well. So 1 week you'd have what I call an A workout routine, and the second week you'd have a B workout routine. And he's just flip-flopping between both, right? Rotating through them. Again, this is great because what it allows you to do is you effectively have a fortnight before you hit the workout again. So progression in terms of, adding weight to the bar or time under tension or more reps is a lot more viable, right? Because you have that sort of rest between each workout. And it allows you to hit the body in a different way each week, again, giving you a bit more stimulus. So that's how we set his initial program up. And if we go into week 1, his first check-in, right? So here he's dropped 2 kilos already in 1 week, right? And as you can imagine, right, he was over the moon. So he's telling me in his email here, in his feedback, he's like, man, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling more energetic. The pumps are fantastic. They're out of this world. And already you can see from his pictures here, and we're only 1 fucking week in, right? Already we can see that his waistline's coming in, right? He's got a little bit more sort of cap in the delts and a little bit of hinting of vascularity coming through the biceps, but nothing crazy, man. We're only a week in. I'm not expecting massive visual change in a week. What I'm expecting to see is how does the body respond? And straight out the gate, I can see, do you know what? His body's responded incredibly well because he's dropped 2 kilos. Yes, you're going to drop a bit of water. We know that. But I can see that his body's responding. So after I get that check-in, I'm like, do you know what? You come right out of the gate. Right out of the gate, you responded so well, right? Christos, let's keep everything as it is and let's get another week under your belt. Let's get some more data. Give your body a bit more time in this environment, right? Give your body a bit more exposure to what we're doing and then see what happens. Because like I say to you, when I'm coaching a person, nothing's preset, nothing's premeditated. It's all about working with the client in the real time and making changes dynamically based upon what their body's feeding me back. And I'm sure you'd agree with me, in a fucking week, it's not enough data to really see how a person's body's adapted, let alone responded. So I want to push them a bit further, just see what happens. So we go to week 2, checks in on week 2. Now this check-in's very different to last week. This time he's weighing 105.5 kilos. So he's dropped basically 2.5 kilos from his last check-in. That's quite a lot, isn't it? Right? So you're thinking now, in 14 days, the guy's dropped 4.5 kilos. And look at this check-in, how different it is to last week's. This check-in, he says, I feel like I'm getting smaller. I feel like I'm getting weaker. I'm eating more meals. I've done my cardio, my training sessions too. So, this is something that a lot of guys struggle with. They get onto a cut, they start to lose that initial body fat, they drop that initial water weight. Now you're not feeling as big. Now your pumps don't feel as good, right? And that's where a lot of guys will quit, because they'll go 2 or 3 weeks into a cut and think, fuck's sake, man, I'm getting smaller. It's a worry. When you spent time building that body up, and then you're going on a fat loss phase and you're expecting to look more muscular, are you just shrinking like one of those fucking Russian dolls where your shape's the same, but you're just getting smaller? Man, that's really disenchanting and worrying. But what you got to realize is that initially, that's how it is. That's how it is initially. When you start a cut and you lose that initial water bloat, right, you feel like what's happening is that you're actually shrinking. But you just need to give your body time to adjust. Because when you give your body time to adjust, what will start to happen is those muscles start to fill back out again, right? You'll start to really tighten up and drop further body fat, and then you'll start to see the physique take shape rather than look just smaller. So initially, you've got to go through that mindfuck stage where you will feel smaller, right? It's normal. It's completely normal. You've got to get past that stage, and then the muscularity will start to come through, right? So after seeing Christos Checkin, and I can see, okay, this guy's metabolism is responding really well. We're talking now back-to-back weeks where he's dropped 2 kilos or more. And I'm not about rushing a person down, because you rush a person down like that, right, then they will get smaller. So this is where the coaching kicks in and the dynamic nature of it. So looking at that, I said to Christos, do you know what? You've fantastic Checkin. You're on fucking fire. You're melting fat. But I can see space to put more food in. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, Christos is dropping body fat at a rapid rate, right? His weight's dropping big time week by week. Now, most coaches would say continue onwards, because do you know what? He's dropping body fat, he's progressing. But surely putting calories up is going to work against us. Completely fucking wrong, right? And this is where experience comes in. Looking at Christos' physique, I could see that he's quite flat, right? Understanding how he's feeling, I'm thinking about the mental aspect as well, right? I've got to keep this guy strong. I've got to keep this guy focused, man. If he's already starting to get doubts in himself, doubts in the program, this guy won't fucking make it past week 4. So I add an extra high carb day in, knowing that his body will be able to utilize that food. It's not going to undo his fat loss progress. He's still going to continue to lose body fat, but he's going to feel fuller in the gym. He's going to feel stronger. He's going to perform better. He's going to recover better. All those things actually bolster a metabolic response. So this is how you can effectively add food in while you're getting leaner, something that's very unorthodox if you follow the 2D mindset of calories in versus calories out, which is what holds a lot of people back. I mean, sure, if you're obese, calories in versus calories out is definitely a good way to go. But if you're trying to build a body, so you're thinking about how you actually fucking look, then coaching's not about following a caloric plan where you just reduce. It's about fucking looking at the person's body and having an understanding and experience of when to feed the client up and when to pull food down. Again, all dynamic. So we put those 4 high carb days in. Let's go to week 3 and see what happened for him after I put those 4 days in. And consider as well, he's having a cheat meal every single week. Burger, fries, and a small dessert is what I was giving him. So we go to his next check-in here, and he's weighing the same, right? So his weight is exactly the same. And you know what he says here? Listen to this. I ate all my food, and I'm starting to feel better, and I'm starting to see some big results. Now, you look at his pictures, his weight is the same, but you can clearly see that his delts are fuller and rounder. His arms are starting to get that sort of pop from the side of the triceps. His waistline's looking tighter, and his shape is simply looking better. You go to his back, you can see the lower back fat's coming down. You can see some back musculature coming through. Now, what you got to realize is exactly what I said to you earlier. See how adding food in has propelled his result, even though he's on a cut. And so early in too. He's only a couple of weeks in, I started adding food in. But this is the dynamic nature of my coaching. And you might think, well, Afsa, do you know what, mate? He's the same weight. How could he lose fat? Look at he's fuller. His muscles are holding more glycogen. Yeah, he's the same weight. So we know that if his muscles were as flat as they were the week previously, he would actually weigh less. So he's definitely lost body fat, but you're seeing no change in the weight scale because he's holding more glycogen within the muscle. So on the scales, there ain't much happening. Visually, there's a lot happening. So after that check-in that he sent me there, right, we make a further update. And now what I do is, this is why I love coaching for, man. Look at how it changes week by week. So now I'm like, do you know what, Christos? You're looking nice and full. He's feeling strong. He's getting that confidence in the program. He's getting that confidence in himself. I'm starting to see results. This motherfucking guy ain't seen results for fucking ages. Now in a couple of weeks, he's seeing results that he's never seen before at a progress level that he's never had before. That's gonna fucking motivate him even more. And when you're coaching a person, it's just as mental as it is physical. I gotta keep this guy marching forward like a fucking Roman soldier walking into war. So I say, look, you know what? You're doing phenomenal. You're looking fantastic. Your body's responding. Let's fucking turn the heat up. Your muscles are looking nice and full. I know if I push you hard this week, you'll just get more muscular. You won't be looking smaller, right? So he increases cardio now. Now we're doing 7 sessions per week. 4 sessions of 45 minutes steady state, zone 2. 3 sessions of 7 minutes of high intensity cardio. And that's what I love about high intensity cardio. High intensity cardio, especially on something like the assault bike, which will take your motherfucking soul, just adding minutes has a profound result. Because you would think, oh, come on, man. If you do 5 minutes on the assault bike, is there a big difference between 5 minutes and 7 minutes? Fucking huge difference. Huge difference. You have to be so much fitter, right, to be able to do those extra minutes. And it takes so much out of you and has such a profound effect metabolically. And it's why I love high intensity cardio, because in terms of time efficiency, right, and the result that you get out of that, my God, it's a game changer. Like, I ask you this question. What can you do in a couple of minutes that can actually effectively help you burn body fat? There's not many things that you can do for a couple of minutes that have that much of a profound effect, right? High intensity cardio does. And you have to also remember this, that look, the fitter your heart, the better your whole system works, right? The better your body's ability to oxidize fat for energy, the better your ability to recover, the better your ability to perform. All these things matter. So we increase his high intensity cardio, 3 sessions, 7 minutes a week, which is going to have a profound effect. I know that. As I'm writing it, I know it. And going from 4 high carb days last week, I pulled down to 2 high carb days this week. Why? Because I could see he's full. You could see it in those pictures. And I know I can give this guy a bit of a fucking pounding now, and his body will hold up. And when he starts to get flat again, I'll fucking feed him up again. That's how it goes. So I send him that check-in, goes off, does his work, comes back the next week. And what does he say? Hey, bro, I've done all my cardio this week and I've eaten all my food. Well done. Good work. When I write a plan, I need you nailing everything. Otherwise, you're not going to get 100% of the result. He's 103.3 kilos. And he says, I feel like I'm getting leaner and leaner. It's only been 4 weeks, Afsa. Oh, man. Can you see why I love coaching? 1 month in, this guy has now literally, right, lost around 7 kilos in 1 month. And you know the beautiful thing is that it hasn't just been less and less calories or more cardio. We've been changing the diet based upon how his body's responding. And you look at his pictures this week, just getting up now, and you can start to see what I would call the shape taking place. So when you look at his front shot, there's some lines coming through the waistline. The love handles are coming down, right? When I see this, I know now this guy's not far from starting to see some actual separation come through, right? Turn him to the rear. Again, you can see the V-shapes improving. You can see some hinting of the spinal rectus starting to come through, the lower back fat starting to drop. We're making movement here, right? We're making waves here. But I told him, look, man, there's still so much more to come. This is nothing yet. So after that check-in there, I said to him, look, do you know what? Your body's responding fantastically to that check-in. To that change that I made. Because remember, when I make a change, I don't know, and I never assume the impact it'll have on a client. That's why we fucking check in. So when he checks in and I see, do you know what? That change that I've made has really fucking hit the bullseye. I know that at least for another week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, who knows? But I know for at least the next week, he's going to be able to make great progress, just simply keeping his body in that environment of change that's coming from the program. So I tell him, get your cheat meal in, 2 burgers, large fries, small dessert. Get back out there this week ahead, keep the program exactly as it is, and fucking work your bollocks off, right? Let's bring home another great week of progress. So we fast forward. He comes back. And now he's weighing in 103 kilos, right? However, a dilemma hit. Cousin's come back from overseas. He only went and fucking had 2 cheat meals, didn't he? And he admits, I feel like shit afterwards. He says, sorry, I'm a bit red, got a bit sunburned, right? Had a bit of a cheat meal, but he still progressed. So even with 2 cheat meals during the week, knowing that he didn't nail his week fully, the body now metabolically is responding so fucking well that he's still continuing to lose body fat. And when you look at his pictures, you can see it coming through. So you look at his legs, you can start to see some vascularity coming in. You're looking at his delts, they're starting to cap off even better than they were before. His waistline is looking nice and tight. So I'm very happy. When I see that check-in, I say, look, don't worry. Deviating off plan, it fucking happens, all right? Happens to the best of us. You don't let it get in your head, right? Because you can't change what's happened, but you can change what you can do today, right? So we focus on getting a full week in this week. And I said, you know what? If anything, you should be more motivated going into this week. And he says, why? Why would I be more motivated, man? I feel pretty crap, having those 2 cheat meals. I said, I'll tell you why. Because if you think about it logically, you've actually made progress on a week that's far from ideal. And when you're dealing with a week that's far from ideal, usually you just want to try and hold the land, all right? You don't want to give up any ground. If you can keep regression at bay, you've done well. If you progress, just fucking thank the gods and thank the universe. I said, if you're going to fall, the best you can hope for is to fall forward. And that's exactly what he did. So even though he came off the plan, had those cheat meals, he still dropped body fat. So we know for an absolute fucking fact that if he keeps the plan the same this week ahead, but actually gets everything nailed as it's written out, there's no other physiological outcome but great progress and great fat loss, right? So I send him off, say to him, get out there this week, right? And let's get that work done. Fast forward the week, and now he checks in and get this up, and you won't believe this. So he checks in, right? This is crazy. In a week, all right? I didn't change anything at all. No supplements, no drugs, no training, no cardio. Absolutely. I didn't fucking change a thing. And 1 week later, his check-in is this. I'm freaking out. I'm 99.6 kilos. This guy lost fucking 3 kilos in a week. You see, you think, Asta, how could he lose that body fat like that, right? And you didn't change anything. I'll tell you how. It's called the compounding effect of your efforts. You've got to realize that when you're on a program and you keep into your diet, you keep into your training, you keep into your cardio, the progress you see in the week is not the progress you can make. You see, your effort, sticking to that diet, pushing that fitness, pushing that intensity in the gym, over time has a compounding effect. And it almost creates like a wave where all of a sudden, the body almost goes up a gear in response. And that's what's happened to Christos here. Now, when I know that happens, I know I got the body, man. I know the body is fucking firing on all cylinders. So you look at his pictures and fuck me, you can really see the difference, right? So you look at his front shot and man, how much tighter is that waistline this week, right? You can now start to see the ridges of the abs coming through. Now, when you start to see the ridges of those abs coming through faintly, you know now basically you know you're in fucking striking distance of those abdominals starting to come through fully. And once that waistline, which is a centerpiece of the entire body, starts to come through, your whole shape's changing. But what's even better, think about what I'm going to say when you look at these pictures, yeah? The guy has literally fucking lost nearly 4 kilos in 1 week. But lo and behold, look at the chest, look at the traps, look at the delts, look at the arms. They're all looking full and round. Now, what did I say to you? What did I say to you earlier about Primobolan, Mastron, and the effect that they have? We're now, 5-6 weeks into the cycle? That cycle's going to be knocking in. That Primobolan's doing its work. That's why I fucking love it. It keeps you full, even when you're pushing hard and losing fat at a fucking fast rate. So you can see now, everything's starting to align, man. And he has no clue, but I know what's going to happen. These next couple of weeks ahead, man, they're going to fucking blow his mind. So again, you look at the side shot here, you can see the obliques coming through, or the intercostals coming through there. The shape's coming in, but nowhere near as good as we can get. So after that, do you know what? I'm like, Christos, you've dropped a lot of weight this week, you've dropped a lot of body fat, but your muscles look really nice and full, right? So we're going to get a cheat meal in as per normal, but I want you to keep everything the same. Again, why? Well, why wouldn't I? You had a huge result this week in terms of fat loss. The physique is simply looking better for it, right? You're looking rounder, you're looking full, you're performing well in the gym, you're feeling good in yourself, let's fucking keep marching on and burning that body fat up, right? There's no need to change anything right now, not a thing. So we fast forward another week, and I just get this up here. Now this week's a bit of a stressful week. He says, look, I've done all my cardio, I've eaten all my food, same weight. I don't know why my weight hasn't dropped. I've done everything perfect this week. I'm stressing out. And man, those scales are a mindfuck. They really are. You know, I've been through it myself, so I obviously understand completely. But honestly, like the scales will be the undoing of you mentally, you know, because if you place all your hope each week on what the scale does, man, you're gonna fucking find that it's gonna be like you're on a roller coaster. I have never yet, after coaching over 5,000 people, I've never yet had a journey where I've taken a person, got them into the shape of their lives, and in that journey, every single fucking week, their weight has dropped. The weight has gone up and down, up and down, up and down. That's completely normal. People do not understand, right? First of all, how fat loss works, which I'll go into in a second. And people don't understand, right, how easily influenced the scale can be. And they don't realize that anabolics don't fucking care that you're trying to lose fat. They're going to put muscle on you, full stop. So it's very normal that when you're in a cut and you're taking a cycle, that you will put muscle on during that cut, right? Which will reflect in the scale weight. And what you've got to realize as well is, because sometimes you can look at the mirror and think, fuck me, man, I'm looking leaner. My shape is looking better. My clothes are fitting differently, but why is my weight the same? Think about the fat loss process. What is fat loss, right? Fat doesn't just drop off you onto the floor, right? You're using it. You're oxidating fat from the cell for energy to be utilized by the body. In that process, the cell can temporarily take up water, which means on the scale, you'll weigh the same. But visually, you'll look leaner. And that water will dissipate from that cell organically. So that's why you can have a great week of fat loss, and you can see it, you can feel it. But man, it's not measuring on the damn scale. So he sent me that email there, right, where he says to me about his weight not dropping. And check this out. He emails me just a little bit afterwards and says to me, I don't know, I feel like I look leaner. I'm so curious to see what you say about it. Well, lo and behold, I just told him what I told you guys. Because, you know, like I say to you, you've got to navigate a client mentally. This is this guy's first rodeo ever working with me. He doesn't know what to expect. He's not in my shoes where I'm sitting here with so much experience and know where I can take him. For him, this is all new, right? So he's thinking to himself, have I done something wrong? Am I not making progress? Have I stalled? I'm like, Christos, relax, man. I promise you now, you're improving, you're progressing, your shape is changing. This is very normal. It happens. So you look at his pictures, and come on, man. You don't need to be a coach to see, you know. I mean, look at the side shot. You can see the intercostals. You can see the obliques are clear this week. You can see from his front shot, look at the vascularity coming out in his legs. Look at the tie-ins between the muscles in the shoulders and the arms. Look at how the abs are looking more defined, and he's starting to get a few veins in his lower stomach. Yet, because the weight scale told him it's the same number, he thinks he's not done good. Are you kidding me? I said, Christos, you've done amazing, man. It's completely normal. You know, get your head back on, get focused, let's get out there, and let's get another fucking great week of working. I didn't change a damn thing. Do you want to know why? Because I can see he's fucking getting leaner. I can see that what he's doing is working. I will not be influenced by a scale, right? I use the body as a barometer of progress and response. And if I can see the body's changing, I don't give a fuck what that motherfucking scale says. If you're looking better, then I know what we're doing is working, and we keep on working. So go forward another week. And he says here, hey, Afsa, really good check-in. I'm 98 kilos, so he's dropped just over a kilo from last week. Training's been great. Now you look at his pictures, and again, amazing the difference in a week. I mean, look at the vascularity coming through on his legs. Look how small that waist is looking. Look at how full the chest, the shoulders, the arms are getting. Look at how his silhouette's starting to change now and get more pop to it. He's got more V-shape. Look at the rear shot, and you can see how the back is coming through. You can start to see just the faintest separation of what we call the Christmas tree with the lower lats tie in. So you can see here that his physique is progressing very well. He doesn't know this, but I know this, that he's not far now from really seeing condition he's never seen in his life. I always get excited at this stage because I just know, right, that a client doesn't know what's going to come, but it's going to change everything for them. When you see shit in your body, or let's just, that's not a good word to use. So when you see it back in the mirror, something that you've never seen from your body before, and you see your shape changing a way that you've never experienced, I cannot tell you just how empowering and how exciting it is. Because you've gone from a position where you've been trying your hardest and getting nowhere to now going somewhere you've never been before, and so rapidly. You can imagine how excited he was, right? Especially after last week when he was worried and stressed out. So guess what? What do you think I've done this week? Do you think I changed things? Hell no. He's keeping his fullness. He's getting leaner. Yes, the scales have dropped, right? As you know, I don't use it as a barometer, but we can see everything's going in the right direction, right? I say, Christos, get your treatment as per normal. Let's get out this week. Let's get another good, solid fucking week of graft in. So he gets out there, gives it his all, pushes hard, and we go to the next check-in. And we get the check-in up. And you know what he says? He says to me, I've had a great week of work, got my training, got my cardio in, and I've started to realize my stomach is tightening up a lot, and my veins are starting to really pop up. I'm starting to get them down to my calves and in my back. And my workouts are a killer. But man, I'm really starting to see the difference. Oh, I love it. I love it. From 2 weeks ago, unsurety, to now seeing shit he's never seen in his body before. And you look at the pictures, and the man explained perfectly what's happening. He's getting more and more muscular. You can see now around the belly button is those last ridges for the six-pack are starting to come through. You can see how much more vascular he is. Remember I told you about Masteron? Masteron and low body fat, disgusting combination for vascularity. Really and truly, one of the best compounds for increasing vascularity when you're lean, because if you're a fat fucker, like Masteron ain't gonna make a difference, all right? Let's just be real. But if you're lean and you're not holding much body fat, Masteron will give you a far superior vascular look, right, compared to if you're not using it. So you look at him here and you can see the veins coming through his stomach. You can see the shape improving. You can see the vascularity all over the legs. Man, it's beautiful, right? The guy's doing really well. So we got those pictures there. See if I got any more of him. Weight-wise, he didn't mention what his weight was this week, but I'm pretty damn sure it was the same. I'm pretty damn sure it was the same. So I make a change. Based on his physique where he is now, it's not really, because I would tell you the truth. If I kept him on the same program, I know that he'd continue to progress. But for me, look, man, I'm looking at a client's progress, and I will never leave opportunity on the table. Seeing where his body's settled, knowing that his weight's sitting stable, seeing that his muscles are nice and full, seeing that he's hardening up, knowing that he's doing really well with the program, like he's feeling strong in himself, right? You know, the workouts are going really well. He's in a good position of energy. I'm like, you know what? We can fucking push things even harder. And if we push things harder, you're only going to get a better result. And I remember saying to him that, look, what I'm about to do with you now will blow your fucking mind, right? So we make changes across the board. Let's go to the anabolics. So I add in Anavar at 50 milligram per day, milligram in the morning, gram in the evening. Because of the half-life of Anavar, I think it's good to spread your dosages morning and night. And we also add in 15 micrograms of Clen, micrograms with meal 1 and 3. Now, the reason why I separate Clen into microgram dosages, I can't take accolade for it. I actually got that from Dave Palumbo. And by taking your Clen throughout the day like that, breaking the dosages down, it tends to elicit a lot less side effects on you, right? So it's a better way to use it because you know Clen is very intense. You take a whole bunch of Clen in one go, you're shaking like Shakin' Stevens. That ain't good. That's not productive if you're working and trying to get about your day and you're fucking shaking, right? You know, you don't want it, you want it to be as least disruptive as possible. And of course, keeping his growth hormone in. We changed the cardio as well. So now I'm really starting to push. We got 5 sessions of 45 minutes steady state a week. And we got 3 sessions of 8 minutes of high intensity cardio. And again, that extra minute makes all the difference. Diet-wise, now I pull him to 1 high carb day a week. And I'll tell you why, because I know pulling those carbs out and adding the Anavar in, right, his muscles are going to just get fuller. If you look at Anavar as a compound, it is fucking amazing to add in to the last part of a cut. Because what starts to happen is when you're pushing hard that last sort of phase of a fat loss phase, when you're pushing hard in that sort of last stretch of a fat loss phase, what you've got going on is very easy to get very flat. It's very easy to start to lose strength. Saving orals like Anavar there are a godsend because it's almost like it reinvigorates you, right? So now you're able to train heavier and harder, right? Now your muscles have a better pump. Now you look fuller, you feel stronger in yourself, and it has a mild suppressant effect on your appetite, so it helps deal with the hunger, and it gives you a far harder, drier look. Now, combine the clenbuterol in there, which I know is going to start bolstering his fat loss right up because the first fat burner we've added in. What we're sitting on here is an explosive week ahead. Explosive. And I told Christos, I said, you better, you know what? You better strap yourself up because what's going to happen this week is going to fucking blow your mind. So let's go to this week and see what's happened. So he drops his check-in in and he says to me that he's loving how the week has gone, right? And even though it's only the first week of Anavar and Clen, he's so excited because of the changes that it's already made. And you look at the pictures and you can see the story unfold. I mean, fuck me, man. Look at that for a difference in a week. Now, that midsection, the abs are completely out. They're light, but they're out. Now, those legs are veined up to fuck. Now, you can see that he's starting to enter that ripped up condition. And the beautiful thing is this, once you've got all what I call the major separation out, even if it's faint, so you can see your abdominals lightly, you can see the ties between the major muscle groups, there's one reassuring thing. You know that once you reach that level of body fat where you can see all that sort of main muscle separation, even faintly, what's going to come after that is that separation is going to start to deepen. And that's what's going to give you that fucking Batman suit armor plate look. So I say to him, Christos, you don't know what's going to come next, but I'm going to tell you now, you're not going to believe what you fucking see. So we go through this week here. What I say to him is that, look, obviously this has been an outstanding week. It never ceases to amaze me how much a person's body can transform in a week, right? And also should show you guys how pivotal, and something I teach every client, how pivotal it is to add the right compounds in at the right time. So many people idiotically will start a cut with every single drug there is. And man, you're just, honestly, you're wasting your own time. Think about it this way. Coming out of the gate when you're still holding a lot of body fat and taking every drug under the sun is a fucking idiotic approach because you know that's going to put your health under duress and stress, right? You know that it's a short-lived endeavor. So by removing most of the fat first on the most mildest, lowest dose compounds that you can run, and then adding in those compounds, right, that are going to accelerate things at the time when you need them the most and for a short duration where they can do the least amount of damage, that's called strategy. That's called tactics. So I say to him, this is only week one. Watch what happens now after in week two. Right? Watch what happens, Christos, because you won't believe it. And I'll tell you something now, that if you think this week is good, just wait to see next week. So we don't change a damn thing. Then we look at his check-in this week. Still 98 kilos. I'm telling you now, he's losing body fat, even though his weight's staying the same. Got to account for the Anavar, which is going to put weight on you. When you add Anavar in, especially when you've already lost a lot of body fat and you've already done most of the fat loss, any oral compound really is going to initially put size on you. Right, so your weight will go up, and that can be a bit fucked up in the beginning because oh no, the scale's going up. But that's good weight. It's not weight because you ate a pizza. It's weight because you're taking an anabolic, which is now creating a far more favorable environment within your body, right, to building muscle tissue, and that's what it's going to fucking do, right? So even though his weight is the same, you look at his pictures, and he says to me, by the way, that I feel great. Every day is a great day now, right? You look at his pictures, and again, it's the same thing. You can see the conditions getting better, the abs are getting deeper, the vascularity is becoming more prominent. I say to him, do you know what? I couldn't be happier with the progress. And I'm looking at him thinking, okay, the Anavar's putting muscle on him. He's getting leaner. Let's fucking go in for the kill now. Let's deliver the kill shot. So now I'm going to fucking punish him in a good way. So we got 9 sessions of cardio altogether. I've said to him, look, 6 sessions now, 45 minutes of cardio, steady state, 3 sessions of 8 minutes, high intensity cardio, right? Diet-wise, we're on a straight diet now. Still a decent amount of carbs, but we're on a straight diet. No fucking carb cycling. We're dieting hard now for what he was doing with me. And I tell him in this, I'm so excited because I knew that pushing him now is going to result in just an insane fucking change. Then we fast forward and fuck me. Was I wrong? I mean, look at this check-in. Was I wrong? Right? You look at his body and fucking hell, man, it's a day and night difference. How the fuck can a person change like that in 7 days? Till this day, after coaching thousands of people, it still surprises me how much the body can change in a week. I mean, you look at him this week, yeah? Those abs couldn't be clearer. Look at how hard and round and full his muscles looking. Look at the separation he's got. Already, this is an incredible transformation already, right? But as always, I want to do better. My goal as a coach is to get you in the greatest shape possible. Not to do a good job, but to do the greatest job we can possibly do with your physique. So after seeing that check-in, as you can imagine, I was over the moon. I say, Christos, my goodness, brother, you are looking fucking insane. And we're only 3 months in, right? Or just under. Let's keep this going. Because when you see a change like that in a week, you know that what's coming up the next week is going to be even better. Remember, you're not going to see the full totality of an impact that a change can make in a fucking week. So we look at the next week now. Weight's the same, but fuck me, this guy now is... Every week is a big week. Every week there's massive change. And that's what happens. When you get down to the sort of single digits of body fat or just above, so like I would say from 12% onwards, what's really amazing about that stage is that you will see visual change in your body every couple of days. And you look at Christos, I mean, he's looking unrecognizable here. He's got fucking veins coming out of his back now, let alone his front, right? So the condition's coming, and I know I just got to keep this guy focused, got to keep pushing this guy, and he's going to, because already now, he's mind-blown. He's made more motherfucking progress in 3 months than he's made in years. And guess what? I'm fucking being transparent with you guys. The gear was very mild. Nothing that he hadn't taken before. He just didn't know how to put it all together. If you know how to put it all together and how to time things and when to change things, that's what creates the result, right? Every client's pathway is different. So after seeing that check-in there, I was so impressed how full he was, how hard he was, how dry he was. I'm like, you know what? We can fucking push this even harder and go even further, because now I know the finish line is right there and we ain't too far. So now we apply the Photoshop filter finish, which very simply is the addition of Winstrol at 2 milligrams per day in the morning and the evening. Unbelievable hard now. Anavar and Winstrol as a combination, as a tag team duo to finish off a cut, are unbeatable. They really do apply like a Photoshop filter to you in real life, where you just are drastically harder, drastically drier, drastically fuller, right? It's a beautiful way to finish a cut that gives you just a fucking fantastic photo shoot-esque finish. And on top of that, we added in the venom of compounds, Trenbolone, but microdosed. You see, Trenbolone, although it gets a bad rap, and it's like, oh, you can't touch Trenbolone, it's, you know, it does this, it does that, it's such a toxic compound. Man, I gotta keep telling you guys, the devil's in the details, all right? So if you microdose Trenbolone, which is what I've done with Christos, right? Milligrams of Trenbolone, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So under 100 milligrams total per week. Again, please understand what I'm trying to teach you. Timing, right? At this stage of the game, where he's got a little bit of body fat left, to really finish this cut off with an absolute fucking bang, that Trenbolone is going to morph him. It's going to make him harder. It's going to make him bigger. It's going to bring him back to life in the gym. It's going to give him the vigor and the energy he needs to cross that finish line with the best look he's ever had. So we add that Trenbolone in. We keep everything else as it is. Cardio, we're now pushing to the limit. I've got him doing 6 sessions of 60 minutes of cardio a day. Sorry, 6 sessions of 60 minutes of cardio per week. We're doing 4 sessions of 7 minutes of high intensity per week. We're pushing that cardio through the fucking roof now. And diet-wise, we're keeping him on a straight plan, but now stripping the carbs back violently. So he's only got a bit of oats in the morning, got a bit of rice and potato for meal 3, and then after that, it's just mainly protein and fats, right? I'm fucking pushing him hard. Why? Because, man, hormonally, we're in a great position with the compounds we're using. Visually, his body is keeping that size, so I know that I can push him, and rather than just look smaller and stringier, he's just going to get more muscular. So you implement that cycle, and we fast forward to the next week, right? Guess what? He's up half a kilo. You got to love Trenbolone. You got to love Winstrol. Those fuckers are going to put muscle on you. And you look at his pictures this week, and I mean, fucking, you can see it. I mean, think about where this guy started, and think about where he is. And man, we're not talking years here. This is this guy now coming into the 4th month pretty much, yeah? And you look at that physique, I mean, it looks fucking insane. The condition, right? He's pretty much ripped to pieces. You look at the rear shot, look at the width in the back, look at how the details all come in. And he himself just couldn't be happier, right? That his weight's going up, right? He's feeling stronger in the gym and he's getting leaner. That's like winning the lottery. You're putting muscle on and you get leaner at the same time. And you're at the end of a cut and you're fucking feeling strong. That's called doing things the right way. So when I see that, I see how he looked. I'm like, man, you know what? Christos, you're looking fucking incredible, right? I couldn't be happier with the progress that you've made. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep everything as it is. Because if you've made this result this week, guess what? By keeping things the same, next week can only be better, right? So you look at his physique, this next check-in, and again, he's just getting better and better and better. Now everything is separated and deep. Now his muscles, every muscle got that 3D full look. Now you can see the condition is coming absolutely crisp. I mean, even at the lower part of the stomach, which most men and women both struggle with, you can see his skin is tight as a drum and his body's just fucking filtered with veins. Now Christos is over the moon, man. In just a short span of a couple of months, after seeing his friends transform, and wondering like, is this the real deal? And now working with me, he's standing here living proof in front of his own 2 eyes in the mirror with how he's looking. And he just could not be happier. I mean, you look at some of these shots that he sent me, right? They're just fucking incredible. And for him, he had never, ever, ever seen his body like this. So we fast forward another check-in because I said to him, look, man, at the end of the day, you're doing so well. I really don't want to change things. Let's keep things going as they are. Don't need to change the diet, don't need to change the cardio, don't need to training. Check this shit out. It's going to blow your mind. Checks in 1 week later. You ready for this? Yeah, you ready? I don't know what's going on, brother. I've jumped on the scales. I'm 101 kilos. I cannot believe how much fuller I'm looking, right? And you know what the crazy thing is about this? What did I tell you, right? That when you add these compounds at the right time, you do not understand timing of compounds. We are using minute dosages of trenbolone, right? Small dosages of Winstrol, but look at how well I've placed them and the effect that they've had. Now, you look at this guy's pictures this week and fuck me, man. I mean, you know, they say pictures speak 1,000 words. You look at his shot here, right? It's absolute fuck. The guy, he's ripped to pieces now. He's there. Transformation's done. Look at the smile on his face. You can see it with your own 2 eyes. Finishing this off, starting from 110 kilos, going all the way down to 95 kilos, and then coming back up to 101, right? Leaner than ever. Now, say to Christos, you're there, mate. You're there. That's it now. Let's do one final week and we'll call this a wrap. Lo and behold, checks in 1 week later. I couldn't be happier with the result. He is fucking ripped to pieces in around 14 weeks. 14 weeks with this guy. We got him the best result he's ever had. We got him the most progress he's ever experienced and into the best shape he's ever been in, right? Using less gear than he's used previously. Did you hear me right? Using less gear than he's used previously through smart coaching, smart nutrition, hard training, and making sure that every single week we're assessing every single step he makes. So it was a pleasure taking you guys through this. As for Christos, he's currently still with me. He's going to be with me for at least another 2 years, he tells me. We're currently going for a bulking phase, which I'm sure I'll cover somewhere down the line. We've added a lot of good size. We're actually aiming to get to 120 kilos. And then after that, I'm going to prepare him for his first bodybuilding competition. Imagine that. What started out as a curiosity, could I really be like one of those transformations after posts, right? Or am I just a dreamer? Reaches out to me, begins his program, 4 months later, well, let's say 14 weeks later, in the shape of his life, best shape he's ever been in, more progress than he's experienced in years, using less gear and a diet and training and cardio that he never imagined how to even put that together. And it opened up a whole new chapter in his life, a whole new chapter. He is now a reformed man. He's never been so focused. He's never been so driven. He's never felt so fucking alive. Because when you take a step into uncharted territory, right? No matter what you're doing in life, when you take a step into uncharted territory, and you have to climb that mountain of ascension that it takes to really transform, what it does, it wakes you up. It wakes you up to how capable you are, right? It wakes you up to the reality and the truth of what you can do. And once you realize that, then the question becomes not, can I do it? It becomes, how far can I go? And that's where Christos is now. Because when he started with me, it was, can I do it? Now it's, how far can I go? How big can I dream? And how hard am I willing to work?